W's and L's, the weekly recap show where we give a dub to the things that we do like and an L to the things that we don't. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, bro. First dub, or well, only dub I got is going out to Mr. Dan Patrick.
Definitely thought that was going to Michigan, but okay.
No, it's going to Dan Patrick. Everybody know Michigan won, but that's okay. Giving my dub out to Dan Patrick for his insider information that has Scott Frost being bought out and fired in October once they hit week 6 or 7, I believe it is, right? And his source telling him that he will be replaced by none other than former Big Ten champion head coach and national champion and winner of the inaugural college football playoff, Urban Meyer. Clap him up, baby. Urban's about to be a Cornhusker.
Oh,
yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Yo.
Let's make it happen. Make that shit happen right now. Sign him. Sign him. It's actually the perfect marriage. Where else in America are they going to let him punch a grad student kicker in the face and then go out and have a good time with, some frivolous women when he's supposed to be on the team bus going back home? None other than Nebraska, baby. Cornhuskers. Line them up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, where else are they going?
Okay.
I think it's perfect. Send them there.
If Nebraska gets Jaguar Urban Meyer, I will be okay with it.
I don't give a good goddamn whether or not they get Urban Meyer that coached Heisman level Tebow. Don't give a damn.
But then they're giving him a good Urban Meyer.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen, Linda. Nebraska hasn't been good since Tom Osborne was there. Nebraska hasn't been good since Michigan won a national championship. It
was a really long time ago.
For all you Michigan haters, Nebraska hasn't been good since we won a national championship. So please take Urban Meyer over there so he can further tarnish his legacy as a head football coach. Please. Because it ain't getting no better over there. You can have Nick Saban his goddamn self. Actually, Nick Saban is probably the only person that can make Nebraska work. Because he'll get the kids to come.
You don't think Urban Meyer would?
No, fam. No.
I think he has some recruiting pool.
To get him to come to Nebraska? Nick Saban is going to have trouble getting kids to come to, but only for the simple fact that he has 7 national championships is what'll get it done. But that is the only way that I'm seeing kids flock to Nebraska.
Urban has what? 3? 4?
It's not 7.
Sure, but he's got a lot.
And plus, he's coming off controversy. So now you're going to have to prove it. How are you going to prove it in Nebraska?
Do you have to prove it at the college level?
To get kids to come?
He's already done the proving at the college level. It just didn't work out on the NFL level.
Again, right. So that's controversy. That's
sure. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, it's not going to be as easy as it has been for him. But
we play in a what have you done for me lately league. And lately, Urban Meyer has either been on Big Noon Kickoff or kicking kickers at practice. So, that whole dominating at Ohio State thing seems like it was just a fleeting memory.
I'm down with the first part of said rumor, firing Scott Frost.
If Scott Frost won the next 50 games, went 50-0 for the next 50 tries, he'd still have a worse record than Bo Pelini.
Gross.
If he won the next 50 games, that's essentially 4 years of football. So if he goes undefeated for the next 4 years, he'd still have a worse record than Bo Pelini when he was at Nebraska. I don't think Urban Meyer is going to be able to turn that around so easily. But please go there. Please do. Please do.
No.
Please take the job.
I don't know if I want that.
Take it.
Get Scott Frost out of there, but let's come up with somebody else. Take the Nebraska
job, please.
Give it to Luke Fickell.
Because you know what? That I can actually see. I actually feel like that's likely. Especially
since they've already lost their first game.
Yeah, I think the talent pool of Cincinnati is going to prove to have dried up just a bit. They may have reached their peak already at Cincinnati. It ultimately depends on how Cincinnati's season goes. I think we all know where Nebraska's going this season, but Cincinnati, if they're able, if they slip to the point where he's considering maybe it's time to get back into real Power 5 football, Nebraska seems like it would be a very nice home for Luke Fickell. It's right in the obviously it's in the Big Ten, part of his traditional recruiting footprint. I think that's a no-brainer hire, actually, for sure. And I would be glad to see him so we could stomp a mud hole in his ass too. You know what? If you want to stick at Cincinnati out for maybe about 2 more years, that Ohio State job may be coming open.
It won't.
You can get your second swing at it.
It won't.
You know what I mean? And then Urban's going to already be at Nebraska, so they're going to be down bad for real.
He won't. It won't. None of that's going to happen.
Urban Meyer's not going to Nebraska? You sure? Dan Patrick said that's a real possibility.
Dan Patrick was only halfway right.
Okay. I'm just saying. Urban to Nebraska.
No.
An Urban Cornhusker.
Nope. Let's not make that happen.
All right, let's start on to my L's list. Kind of extensive. First one is going out to Chris Rock for being the bitterest victim like there ever was. And so this one was in an interview with, what was it, Variety? I think so. It was. I want to be done with this. Right? And I'm probably not going to say anything anytime Will Smith opens his mouth about it because he's decided which way he wants to go with that. I don't agree with him, but it ain't got shit to do with me. Mm-hmm. So let him do what he does. But Chris, I do have a problem with. I have a problem with it because while Chris Rock is garnering all this sympathy, even still to this day, he has the audacity to continue to make the kind of jokes that got him into this position at all. It's like you can feel that somebody is 100% wrong in what they've done to you. 100% without a shadow of a doubt, and it's their fault. But there is always that slither of perception or understanding that you could have if there's going to be a resolution made. If there's not going to be a resolution made, then it's probably best on both sides for everybody to leave it alone and move on. If you're still talking about it, lets me know that it's still bothering you. Mm-hmm. He said that Will smacked him over his nicest joke ever. Yep. But then he caught some backlash last week for making an O.J. Simpson joke of all things about Nicole Brown. Mm-hmm. Now everybody got up in arms about that. Now that ain't that a son of a bitch? Ain't that about a bitch? That there's more outrage about Chris Rock, the same Chris Rock, by the way, making a joke about a dead white woman as opposed to a living black one. You niggas embarrass yourselves on these apps all the time, and it's just so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, that whole situation kind of got under my skin because it's like, bro, stop talking about this shit. You don't want to talk to him. You don't want to see him. You didn't want to do nothing while you were there. Like I have to keep reiterating all of this to people as tough and as much as he's, made fun of Will in the aftermath of all this other stuff, made jokes about it. You even bringing OJ and Nicole Brown Simpson into this shit, right? As much as he's had to say about this, that's equally as least as he had to say about it the night of. Yep. As much as he's talked about this and beat his chest about it and doubled down on it, he sure didn't have all of that effort and talkativeness and wanting to get into anything that night. I've said this on the show once before. I'll say it again. You're not the bully and the victim. No matter how much Drake tries to tell y'all that shit is possible, it's not. You don't get sympathy, but then also people looking at you like you the tough guy on the other side. Dude, stop. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. And then you still not willing to admit that what you said was wrong, which is a contradiction to everything we've seen in your career so far. You're still trying to defend your right to embarrass a black woman on national television because you're a comedian, even though you found a way not to embarrass anybody else.
It's literally not your nicest joke because your nicest joke was the one you said right before.
The fuck are you talking about? Like, that type of belligerent dissonance to your own behavior is it's beyond immature. It's like, it's infantile. And at this point, after the man has already tried to publicly apologize to you, it feels like fake bravado. You can't go nowhere without talking about Will Smith. Now, if he ever pull up on you again, I bet you're going to be trying to get out of Dodge. No, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
Well, he's literally already said he didn't want to talk, so.
I don't want to talk. I just want to talk about you. Mm-hmm. Jessica Gao, writer for She-Hulk, is getting an L for me. We're going to have a different She-Hulk conversation later on here in my does and L's, but Jessica Gao in particular gets an L for me for a couple of different reasons. I'll be nice and say, in defense of a controversial property like She-Hulk, they do a lot of interviews with friendly outlets that kind of set premises for them to answer questions that helps fight criticism of the shows. Okay. And that has been a thing that's been common through the Disney Plus shows, I'd say probably since Falcon and Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. Well, I would say since they didn't need to, in the first couple Disney shows that came out.
Yeah.
The first thing that kind of pissed me off about all of this is that I'm listening to her talk about the production of the show and how they've chosen to construct certain scenes. And she just blatantly admits that she doesn't know how to write lawyer scenes or courtroom scenes, or no one on the staff does. And that upsets me for so many reasons. Not just that this was pitched to us as a lawyer show. It's literally called She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
They even changed it to be that.
Yeah. It's not just that one of the core tenets of the Jen Walters character is the fact that she is a serious lawyer and goes on to defend some very huge names in the MCU. Anyways. Literally, I'm watching the show and we start with a civil case that ends with someone being sentenced to prison. Like, it's not just that you don't know how to write lawyer scenes or courtroom scenes. You don't know how the American justice system works. You don't understand that a civil proceeding where someone is being sued never leads to someone being jailed, at least not directly, by the same officiant, by the same judge. All-knowing, all-powerful Kevin Feige okayed someone to write a character write about a character that is a lawyer that has no experience or even the inclination to try. Would have helped you write those courtroom scenes? Reading She-Hulk. Probably would have helped you with the looseness of her origin story as well. So there's that. There's the fact that we're making a show about a lawyer with someone who refuses to even learn how to write a show about a lawyer. But in the most recent episode, we had an appearance by a popular villain group that pops up in Marvel lore a lot called the Wrecking Crew. Mm-hmm. Seems like they were being depicted here at the end of the last episode. And for some reason or another, and I want to be clear about what I'm saying here when I say this. It's not that I feel like she did it intentionally, because she doesn't know enough about the character to do it intentionally. She doesn't know enough about the source material or the characters within Marvel to do it purposefully. But there's a character in there, Dr. Franklin, who is a black character, who has been dubbed the Black Bruce Banner, right? Like, who has a superior intellect in Marvel Comics. He's a white guy in this show. Now, they haven't explicitly called the crew the Wrecking Crew, and they haven't named who that person is. But if we're just going off a loose reference, which is most likely what we're getting from the person who didn't read the source, the writer who didn't read the source material, that's exactly what they did. And that's where that kind of stuff comes into play. Because here is yet again another opportunity for a strong, intelligent black male character to be put on scene, And through some reason or another, it ends up not only not being shown, but being portrayed now as a white man. So now I ask, I'm already giving her an L, but I ask you, the audience, and Josh, does her intention on whether or not she meant to race swap that character even matter if the result is we get one of the smartest black characters in Marvel, a black male character in Marvel, race swap to be a white man? Does it matter what her intentions were? I don't think it does. When once again, the only thing that you needed to do to remedy that is read the source. I have heard of actors starving themselves for roles. I've heard of people going to remote locations that they're going to be, shooting about to experience the culture, the people, the language. I heard Jamie Foxx glued his fucking eyelids shut to simulate blindness while he was on set performing Ray. I've heard of so many things, very extensive, accentuating things that creatives and actors have done to adjust to what it is they're trying to portray or the story that they're trying to tell. The only thing Jessica Dow had to do was read comic books. Comic books. That's all she had to do was read comic books. And she's not even being required to do that. And she's not the only one either. You think Taika Waititi ever opened up a Thor comic book? Ever. For any reason.
Couldn't have.
Maybe 5 minutes, and then he immediately was like, yeah, we're not doing this. It's not a requirement for these creatives to actually be connected to the source that they're telling. And that's why so many of these portrayals are coming off jarring to people who are not just casual, normie MCU fans. So I had to give her an L for that. Not only for the fact that you can't seem to write a courtroom scene for a lawyer, but the simple. We'll get to some more criticism, I think, in the toss up. But the fact that we keep finding ways to either have black male characters die or not be seen at all in the form that they were meant to be represented in is just like, how long are you going to make excuses as to why that keeps happening? How long are you going to give cover to these creatives who conveniently leave black people out of their stories? Or put them in lights that are detrimental to the representation of us as a whole? Why is that not at the forefront of their mind the same way certain other groups are put at the front of their mind? Well, I don't think we need to go on a tangent about that. But in any case, that's what she's getting the L for. Third one I got is going out to Tom Brady. That boy having problems at home. Yikes. Which was predicted by moi. Definitely said he was going to be entertaining divorce around this time if he decided to come back. And seems like there's some trouble in paradise. Mr. Brady has missed the last 11 days of his off-season training with the Buccaneers.
Say it ain't so, Giselle.
But I called it, though. I called it. Fam, don't be Brett Favre. First of all, you're already better than him. You're the best. You set a bar. Now you sit back and relax and watch somebody else chase it. But you don't have to do this. All your other contemporaries that were close to you have retired. Peyton's gone. Drew's gone. Phillip Rivers is gone. They're all gone. Is Joe Flacco still playing?
Gone before him.
Yeah, and you're better than Aaron Rodgers. You are definitively better than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers can have all these regular season MVPs that he wants, but at the end of the day, you got to win in the postseason and you got to get to the dance. He's only been there twice. You've won 7. There's no comparison. And it doesn't matter how many talking heads on ESPN try to put him in a conversation with you. He's not you. You don't have to do this. You don't have to keep continuing to tear your body up, missing your son's football games. That's the kind of biggest thing, is the fact that, like, his son is getting ready to start playing high school football. You care about year, what is this, year 22, 23, more than you care about seeing your own son start his football journey?
It reeks of arrogance. He doesn't want anybody to be able to come close to touching him.
I get it. It's like he loves the game. He's addicted to it.
He loves himself.
He loves football. He loves football. There are a lot of other things that he can do to promote himself that aren't football. He loves the game. And it would behoove him actually to do something else to talk about himself as opposed to playing football. Like making more than every other, sportscaster on television the first year you walk in. Like removing Tony Romo from his job. That's the kind of stuff that you can hang your hat on now. But signing himself up to be kind of a clown show at this point is what it is. People want to see you fail. I don't know if it's arrogance. I just think he has a problem letting go.
For a reason.
But that's not arrogance though. Arrogance is nothing else matters but me. And that's not football.
Including my marriage.
Well,
or
okay.
My son.
He's clearly choosing football over his marriage and his son, which is fucked. But to say that it's arrogant doesn't even jive with Antonio Brown. That's arrogant. That's arrogant. Antonio Brown. Leaving the game behind because you're bigger than the game is arrogant. Tom Brady risking his marriage and relationship with his children to continue to play football while ill-advised, I wouldn't say necessarily is arrogant. It's I don't know, man.
One's arrogant about their who they are in the game of football. One's just arrogant in general.
But it's just like it's already cemented. There's what else could you possibly do this season to make it bigger? 8 is not that much bigger than 7.
Sure, but it's
8
cemented.
Super Bowls is not so much better than 7 Super Bowls that you had to lose your wife and kids to do it. That doesn't read. But if you're a guy like Aaron Rodgers chasing Tom Brady, of course that motherfucker gonna stay in the league until he's 50. Yeah. He's going to have to. That's the point. You don't have to, Tom. At this point, the only thing that you can do is diminish your legacy by playing at a lesser level. I don't want to see. I don't want to see victory lap Tom Brady. We don't need that. Second to last one. I'm giving an L out to WB. It's an entire shitstorm over there, fam. But they're getting an L from me because they are under the thinking that after The Flash comes out, they're going to be able to continue on with Ezra Miller being a cornerstone of their universe.
Where is Ezra Miller?
Yo, why is Ezra Miller not being attacked?
Because he's white and he's a part of the LGBT community.
Yes. God, I was trying to find a more eloquent way to say that, but
Nope.
Yes. Not only is this man not behind bars or having mothers everywhere speaking out against him, but they're preparing for him to be the cornerstone of the universe. So it really just doesn't. See, I already knew it wasn't the same thing. Hell, they got a Elvis movie out right now glorifying that man. He married a fucking 14-year-old. So it doesn't hit the same over there. It's like, oh, well, he was manipulated and he had bad guys in his corner and he just had to marry an adolescent.
I literally hate the fact that I turn on HBO Max and have to see this big ass screen of Elvis.
Elvis is fucking. I wonder if we ever gonna get an R. Kelly movie like that.
No, we're not.
Damn, it's so easy for them to separate the evil from the idol over there. I just don't get it, man. I don't fucking get it. And then here we are with Ezra Miller, who has been snatching up daughters all year. But because he identifies as they, them, pray for him. I hope he gets better. Excuse me? Have we even gotten a fucking court date? He's been transporting minors. He broke into somebody's house and stole some stuff. We got the grooming allegations. Like, none of it? Nothing. He gonna be able to walk the red carpet, huh?
Got a whole ass cult.
Did he ever even turn himself in for the warrant he had out for his arrest?
No, he didn't. He just apologize and that was it.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. While y'all out here protecting Ezra Miller, y'all need to be giving Issa Rae an extra 30 minutes on her episodes. Stop with the fuck shit.
And an extra 3 seasons.
All right, I got in a toss-up. More of just kind of like a discussion to talk about here with She-Hulk.
Yes.
There's been a lot.
A lot.
There's been a lot of She-Hulk talk. So first of all, let me say, I do not care that Megan Thee Stallion was twerking on She-Hulk.
I don't either.
It was a nice cutaway scene. You know what I mean? Would I have liked to have seen her actually do something in the show? Sure. But obviously she was cool with it, so if that's how she wants to be shown, then that's on her. I believe that Rock Nation and her representation could have gotten something more than that if that's what they desired. That's what they wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
And so that's what she sold. Fine. You know? It is what it is. I'm not going to spend literally a week complaining about the fact that Meg Thee Stallion was twerking on She-Hulk. First of all, could have did with a little less Jim Walters and a little bit more Meg in that scene. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you for saying it, because I was thinking the same exact thing.
Because nigga, we gonna have to put together a cringe list, like Shauna's freestyle and Jen Walters CGI twerking. Like, both of them were equally as cringe.
I agree. I mean, you have Megan Thee Stallion there. Why not use her for a little more?
It don't bother me to the point of needing to be angry about it or trying to like I don't know, man. It's there's a lot of y'all that need to get outside and touch some grass. Seriously, like, there's a lot of y'all that got a problem, and I don't think you've realized it yet. But like, if you are bolting towards anything that makes you relatively aroused in your comic book content with anger, you need to go talk to somebody. You need to go sit down and have a conversation and see what's going on in there, because that's not right.
Twerking, not in my MCU.
Like, now with that being said, I don't think She-Hulk is a very good show. I don't. For a lot of what we talked about earlier in my L for Jessica Gao, but also it seems as though because they didn't know how to write a lawyer show, and because they don't really know about the character, they didn't read the source material, they're having to survive on cameos. They're having to survive on Blonsky and Wong and Bruce and Meg Thee Stallion. It's like all of the peripheral extra stuff is more important than Jen Walters' story right now. What is Jen Walters' story right now? What is her story? Who is she fighting? Who's the big bad? What problem does she need to solve? What real problem has she even encountered at this point?
Dating?
Like, what is... I get the whole, okay, slice of life of the MCU post-Endgame. But for a superhero, wouldn't that involve some more superhero stuff? Maybe? For a lawyer, wouldn't that involve more lawyer stuff? And grant you, it's not about to end either. Still getting Daredevil. Bruce Banner's coming back. Like, this show is living and dying on its cameos. And that's why every week it's a conversation about the cameos. It started off with the argument between Jim Walters and Bruce. And then the next week we go into the conversation about Blonsky. And then the next week we're having a conversation about Meg Thee Stallion. The only conversations that are being driven about this show are about the cameos. And it's so bad and so blatantly obvious that they have to keep reminding you, and the only time that they acknowledge the fourth wall breaking, by the way, which is a huge part of Jennifer Walters' character. And they only seem to do that when they're explaining away a bad part about their show. The only time that Jennifer Walters breaks the fourth wall is when she's explaining bad parts of the show. I mean, we have had this cameo and this cameo and this cameo and this cameo, but remember whose show it is. That's not funny. It's not funny, nor is it what I actually want to see on screen from this character. Why doesn't Jen Walters, the actual character, matter more than all of these cameos? The actual plot of the show is being driven by the cameos, which is atrocious. That's terrible. Especially when you're talking about introducing a new character. You're so hyper focused on making every male character either be a male chauvinist pig or an idiot or an absolute loaf that you have not built up. What have you done with this character? How is Jennifer Walters here in the middle of this season any different than the Jennifer Walters that we walked in? How will she be different at the end of this series than when she walked in? What adversity has she faced other than the courtroom scene of a civil case that ended up being a criminal case with somebody going to jail, and then the parole board hearing, which also turned into some sort of criminal proceeding at the end that Wong conveniently slips out of? It's just like the plot is too loose. The dialogue is even looser. There's not a whole lot of connectivity back to the source material. And again, the director has so much as told you so. They are more focused on telling their story of a feminist lawyer than they are a superhero character. And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having a ultra feminist POV if that's what your goal is. If your goal is to have a satirical view on men and women in the workplace, that's fine. But that's not what was stated. And it also wasn't the premise of the show that was presented to us. And it's okay to criticize those things and not have to be labeled a misogynist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even about to entertain that nonsense anymore, because that just means to me that you're not prepared to defend any of it. You are ill prepared to defend any of the points I'm making. And there's no point of me debating it with you, because it'll ultimately end up in the same place for you. You don't like it because you don't like women. Okay, well, if that's how you feel, go find somebody else to argue with, I guess. I'm not entertaining low-level brain activity arguments anymore. I'm just not doing it. And there are some legitimate criticisms to this show that can be heard without it being, oh man, too much twerking, too much woman, ew.
I mean, Jen Walters can definitely have a space in the MCU if Kang the Conqueror conjures up an army of tender fuckboys. She can definitely be there to fight them.
Dog. Like, it's bad. It is so bad. Episode 1, walks into a bathroom. Oh my God, girl, what happened to you? What did he do to you? Or she, or they? And then she walks out and gets catcalled. And I thought getting catcalled was a regular occurrence for you. I thought you were so good at controlling your anger because of catcalling that you're a better Hulk because of it. Did you not rage out and almost kill the dudes and have to get tackled by your cousin to get out of there? I was wrong a couple weeks ago when I was like, oh, they're setting it up to show how wrong she actually is. No, she's drinking her own Kool-Aid, and the writers are as well. Like that whole, yeah, I'm better than you because people talk down to me and they don't let me be an expert at my expertise, and a lunatic may just murder me because I ignored his advances. That's why I'm the better Hulk. No, they were dead ass serious about that. Like, they were 100% serious. It's just not a very good show. That is it for me, folks.
Got it. Gotta give my one and only dub to the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs? What?
You ain't been a real Cavs fan since LeBron left.
No. There's not being a real fan.
You ain't been a real Cavs fan since LeBron left. Stop it.
It's not watching as much,
which is what I would call a real fan.
Did you not watch as much of the 2020 Michigan Wolverines? You kind of slowed down a little bit.
We only played 8 games that season. That don't even fucking count.
Kind of slowed down a little bit. And I slowed down a little bit in watching.
And that was 1 year. LeBron left the Cavs 4 years ago.
Sure. But I haven't completely stopped watching the Cavs either, or supporting the Cavs.
Go on.
So Donovan Mitchell, along with Darius Garland, along with Mobley, bro, this team is stacked, and we still got Karis LeVert and Kevin Love coming off the bench. Stacked.
Kevin Love off the bench just sounds like a travesty. It sounds like an absolute travesty.
But it also sounds like scoring coming off the bench.
I would sure love to have Kevin Love.
To be honest with you, Karis LeVert coming off the bench sounds like a travesty to me as well.
A little bit. Why is he not playing at 3? Who's at the 3?
Isaac Okoro, who's
better than Karis LeVert?
No, but defensive ace. So
we need to trade for Karis LeVert.
Nah, I just think Karis LeVert is good for some points.
Can I offer you a Kendrick Nunn?
No, you cannot.
I don't think those contracts.
I've heard rumors that Mike Conley might be going to the Lakers.
They want Russ.
Who else are they going to have?
If we start the season with Russ and Patrick Beverley in the same backcourt, I'm not watching. I am not watching that. I'm not supporting anything about that.
But you just got mad at me for not supporting the
Cavs. No.
As much.
No. See, there's a difference between a protest and then literally just not watching because my team sucks.
But I haven't not watched. I've watched. Just not as much.
I am boycotting the Lakers if Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley share a backcourt for any second in this season.
If they get picks from it, do you guys have any picks?
27 and 29.
Damn. Well, I mean, they've already got a shit ton of picks. So I could see them maybe, taking Russ off your hands for a short-term rental.
Talking about Utah?
Yeah. For a short-term rental and then, continuing to, try to pick up people through the draft.
Weak-ass Kevin Durant, bro. I do not respect a single thing about that man, bro. I don't respect anything.
Did he do something recently?
Yeah, he screwed over the whole Kyrie trade by going back to the Nets.
Oh, got you.
Fucking bum. So you really opened up your mouth and asked Josiah to fire Steve Nash and
Marks,
yes. And Sean Marks, just for you to come back to the same team with them both there. You're a spineless individual.
Well, you already knew that.
You're a spineless individual with empty threats. And I wouldn't have traded you either. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have traded you either. Play here for the next 3 years, you spineless. Oh, my God, dude. Oh, my God. I'm sitting over here listening to Patrick Beverley talk about Kevin Durant. He holding people up. I'm like, shut up, Patrick. Then all of a sudden, I'm going back to the next. Patrick was right.
Yikes. Let's see. My next L is going to go to King Combs. Diddy's son.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has entertained an answer on the whole dinner with Jay-Z versus $500K debacle.
If you need to go to somebody for maybe your dad's busy closing $1 billion deal or something.
Yeah, I would say Hove. Before I dropped this song, we had a talk, and that inspired me a lot. So
Jay-Z?
Yeah.
I just love how you just threw that out there. Like, yeah, Hove.
Nah, facts. That'd be the.
What did the talk entail?
Talk was definitely worth the money. You know how they was like, yo, would you take the talk or the money? It was definitely worth it. He was just saying, like, to believe in yourself and just always, like, follow, like, what's in your heart. Like, not what no one else is saying or anything. Just do what's in your heart.
So your advice would be say no to the $500,000 and take the dinner with Hove.
Definitely take the dinner with Hove.
Do you think so?
For sure.
Was this over the phone or in person?
It was in person.
That's so fire.
Yeah.
Like, do you like call it like Jay-Z Theo or something? Is he like your uncle kind of low key?
Yeah, that's my uncle right there.
Apparently, he had some sort of conversation with Jay-Z because he is Diddy's son.
Mm-hmm.
And he said Jay-Z said something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, just keep doing you," some generic bullshit. And so
I done talked to Jay-Z 5 times. He ain't never told me shit.
Stay some bullshit like stay the course and keep doing you and you'll make it or some shit, some dumb shit. And because of that, the radio host or whoever was interviewing him asked him, "Oh, so you're saying that you would take the dinner with Jay-Z over the 500K?" And then King Combs says, "Yeah, no, for sure, take the dinner with Jay-Z." Do not listen to this man. He is Diddy's son. All right?
It's just something so wrong about a millionaire kid to a millionaire father talking to another millionaire saying, yes, don't take the $500,000. Take a conversation.
Oh, my God. He's Diddy's son. Of course he's not going to take the 500K. He already has that in spades. He doesn't need 500K.
He probably
need 500K.
He probably gave him a lesson on capitalism.
Probably.
Jay-Z gave him a lesson on capitalism.
Easily.
And how it's just a faux word to bring down rich blacks.
Now, when the NFL comes up to you, make sure you tell all black people.
Oh, yeah, you a capitalist then.
Done.
But when they talk about eat the rich and they say something about capitalism, yeah, no, that's just trying to bring down the black folks.
Yikes.
Now, I will say, when we talk about white progressive circles, they are all too eager to pull out any type of elitist behavior by acts like Beyonce or Jay-Z or Will Smith. They are all too quick to jump on black celebrities.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? White politicians, oh yeah, they love that shit too. But white celebrities,
for sure.
It's kind of like they put them in this box where they don't expect them to do shit anyway, so they just don't talk about them. But let a black celebrity do some fucked up shit. Oh man.
Trash.
They love that.
Trash.
Tune in to Hassan Habib because he'll never. He love that type of shit.
Oh yeah, no.
Loves that type of shit.
For sure. Hey, you take the 500K, pay off your student loans,
Man, what
buy
is
a house.
it even a fucking question?
Take the 500K.
It ain't nothing being said in that conversation that's ever gonna make you a fucking dollar. Because even if they told you the most profound shit, it would still be you that has to go out there and do it and implement it and get resources and money to get more money. It's you that has to do the work. So damn that conversation. How about you get the money and you pay for the conversation? How about that? Anybody ever thought about that? Huh? Don't you think that Jay-Z would be a little bit more apt to give you some reasonable advice if you're paying him for it?
Take the 500K. Take it.
Yeah, let me listen to somebody who inherited millions on whether or not I should take some money.
Whose literal career is being handed to him.
Who shares women with his father.
Whoo, not hand-me-down women.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Jesus.
Yeah, they nasty over there.
Oh, big time. Ari Wasserman, National College Football reporter. He seemed to be upset about the fact that we're going from a 4-team college playoff to a 12-team college football playoff.
Oh, is he one of those college football purists?
Yeah, seems like
no,
it.
my bowl games
Seems
that I
like
didn't
it.
watch every year anyways.
Right.
It's like 40 of those damn games.
And some of them we don't know the name for. And
Most of them we don't know the name or even watch.
It's a fact. So he seems to be upset about the fact that we're going from a 4-team playoff to a 12-team playoff, which, you know what, if you're going to be mad about it, it's up to you. But he used an example to kind of display why this is going to be a bad thing. He says that the Ohio State-Michigan game from last year loses complete relevancy because now we're going to a 12 playoff team. And I responded, Ohio State-Michigan literally never loses relevancy. It's the biggest rivalry in sports. It literally doesn't lose relevancy from
regardless of the national implications.
But I'm going to go ahead and go off the example you gave and why you were saying it. You were saying that that game obviously wouldn't matter because both teams are going to go into the playoffs. Can you not at least agree the fact that Michigan has gained a shit ton of confidence in themselves from not only beating Ohio State, but then going on to winning the Big Ten championship, and that's going to carry over for at least the next couple years.
So the thing that he's leaving out in that summation is that now it goes from a four-team playoff where you essentially not only have to win your conference, but do so convincingly because there are 5 Power 5 conferences and there are 4 slots. So that leaves somebody out, right? It just adjusted from that type of thinking to now it's seeding. So now, if you're one of the top 4 teams in that event, that would usually be probably the winner between the Ohio State-Michigan game, you go from having to fight your way through 3 rounds of playoffs, one of them traveling at least, to having a first round bye and then hosting the next game at home.
So even
is that not relevant?
That's definitely relevant.
So week 17 or week 18 of the NFL season is irrelevant. The wild card game is irrelevant. No, it's just not what you think it is anymore. It's not. Oh well, back in my day, you play for the Rose Bowl. Yeah, the Rose Bowl is better than the national championship. That was never going to last that way with the college football playoff.
Never mind the fact that you're talking about 2 of the top teams in arguably the best division in college football. So it's always going to have national implications. It's the last game of the year as well.
Also, you go from, again, being the team that has a first round bye and then gets to host a playoff game to
having to
fight to get in with the rest of the at-large bids.
And how a national college football reporter doesn't at least understand that portion of it, it's kind of wild.
Now, what I don't want them to do is necessarily set it up so that you get an automatic rematch between Ohio State and Michigan. I don't think we need that every year because you would end up having that every year.
I don't think that should be in the case.
I don't think, like, if you're going to do this thing where, okay, we'll let in the team that lost the Ohio State-Michigan game into the playoffs anyway, then find a way to structure this bracket.
They're not playing each other.
Yeah, where they're not playing each other.
All right. Well, I had to get that off to R.A. Wasserman, national college football reporter. Just figured he might want to know a little bit of information as to why that's wrong. I'm going to go first off and say RIP to battle rapper Pat Stay. Huge impact in the battle rap scene as seen by all the people who were sending their condolences. You know, one of the pillars as far as not so much the URL side of things, but the King of the Dot side of things. Mm-hmm. Champion for quite a while over there. Huge champion run over there on King of the Dot. Hilarious battle rapper, but he was able to do so many other things like freestyle, rebuttal. He kind of had the total package as far as that went. So when he made his transition over to URL, it was kind of seamless for him and kind of worked for the most part. But he will be missed. Like I said, a huge impact on the battle rap scene. So RIP to him and condolences to his family for sure. I am going to end this one off with an L for the Columbus cop who murdered Donovan Lewis. I believe this might have happened a week ago, because I think we're a little late on the news on that. Brutally slain, and once again, well, did he have the knife in his pocket? Somebody had a knife in their pocket. Yeah, when they searched him, but still, he was in his bed asleep.
And from what I hear on the footage, because I refuse to watch that shit anymore.
Oh yeah, no, agreed.
But from what I hear, it was the time between when they actually broke into this man's room and the time that the shot was fired was like less than a second. Mm-hmm. It was like less than a second. They were able to determine that because again they had it on film. Yeah. How man? Even if the man, I don't know whether or not that was him or not, whether or not that's true, but even if he had a knife on him, what could he have done to you realistically?
With a knife, when you have a gun and a dog,
is he a fucking expert knife thrower? He's gonna goddamn James Bond you from the bed, like
the threat is not really there. You're manufacturing these threats to formulate.
And am I right to say this is the same like group or same task force that killed Casey Goodson?
That I don't know, but I would not be surprised, unfortunately. Yeah. So this is the fourth headline-making killing from an officer. Probably only the third that's going to go to some sort of court hearing, but the fourth.
Go get his ass, man. Go get his ass. Lock him up right there with Chauvin and the niggas from Alabama who killed Ahmaud Arbery. Get his ass too. Tired of this shit, man.
Yeah.
Why don't you have any type of fuck? It's because they're not dealing with human beings to them.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And so then when you hear our president coming out talking about, oh, well, we got to get cops more money. When you hear politicians running on platforms that are built on giving cops more money, I'm talking to you, Mr. Savage, Mr. Boy Meets World, running a pro-police platform.
Yikes.
No. Don't talk to me about there's good ones and bad ones. They all bad. They're all bad because the good ones sit around and they watch the bad ones do this and they support them. And then the truly good ones are the ones who end up getting fired and ostracized from the force.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the badge of honor of an honest cop, is the one who's ostracized from the group, from the whole.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you mentioned the fact that they themselves don't see it as dealing with actual people, because you got to question who's bringing these people into the force to protect and serve these communities of people that they don't even see as human beings. It's just something that you're probably going to have to look at.
That's it, man. They don't see a human on the other side of that gun. It's like an animal making a quick movement. You shoot it, make sure it don't hurt you. That's how they see it.
And it's just so wild to see that from your hometown.
I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised in the least bit, man.
I didn't say surprised, but it's just wild to actually see that in your community.
Yeah, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
There are no good and bad police forces. They operate in the same way everywhere in the country.
Mm-hmm.
That is the problem. Is this idea that the violence and the bad apples, quote unquote, are isolated to overly populated urban areas, and that's the only place that is happening. It's like that is how police operate everywhere.
Yeah.
We've been telling y'all for years. You only just now realizing.
Absolutely. That is it for my Dubs and L's.
Big shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson, man, for beating Shelly Frazier's ass. Shout out. Since we want to talk about how bad she got smoked in her frilly pink suit, and we talked about it too.
You talked about it.
I did, yes. Shout out to Sha'Carri for smoking Shelly Frazier.
For sure.
I didn't see no Jamaican flags talking about that one on Twitter, now did I?
That's because you don't follow Reem anymore. I'm cutting that out.
Yeah. Anyways, and I do. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, give us some comments on your Dubs and L's for the week. Make sure you come back next Wednesday at 10 for our new episode.
Make sure you can go back and check out our previous Dubs and L's and see our previous recaps of weeks before. And make sure you subscribe. We like to do this every Wednesday at 10 o'clock.